So are you an agent and you're looking to make 2021 your best year yet in the business? Well, in this video, I'm gonna be going into actually how you should strategize your goals for 2021, right? And we're gonna go beyond the typical stuff like I wanna make X amount of dollars. I'm actually gonna go through how you should align your mission, your vision with your process goals, right? Because everyone misses how to connect their mission to what they need to do on a daily basis. And then beyond that, we're also gonna go beyond just commissions and actually connect your goals to your overall financial and personal goals so you can really make it something that drives you beyond just making a commission check. So with that, let's get started. What's going on, guys? My name's Lior and I'm a real estate team leader out of Compass in Boston. And as I said, we're gonna be doing a full deep session onto how to actually strategize your 2021 goals. I think a lot of people really messed this up and kind of set very vague and not very specific goals that are actually going to be driving them the year. So I'm going to go detailed breakdown. If this 2021 is the year you want to blow it up, I would strongly suggest following this sort of map way. I did that for myself just recently, and I've got a crystal clear vision of what I want to achieve in 2021. So let's get right into it. And we're gonna start first with the mission slash vision, right? And before we get into like the figures that you wanna make and everything, first you wanna figure out what is your actual like vision for yourself to become this year, right? It's not a person that earns $100,000, $150,000 or $200,000 or whatever it is, right? What do you actually want to become? Do you want to become the best realtor in your county? Do you want to become the best realtor in your office? Do you want to become rookie of the year? Do you want to grow your team or start a team? What is your actual vision for what you truly want to accomplish this year, right? Beyond just the dollars taken home to the bank account. Because let's be real, I think this is a super helpful thing to do because a lot of times, even though money certainly does drive us, there's a little bit more to it, right? We want to build something, we want to be known as something, and it's really that extra little gear beyond the figures that I think will really help drive you into hitting your goals. So once you have that figured out, then I would connect that into actual statistics, right? And now we can talk about things like, all right, how much money do you want to take home? How much sales volume do you want to do? How many transactions do you want to do? How much time you want to spend working, right? Like the actual numbers behind that vision, right? So, and those got to be aligned, right? So if you want to be top producer in your county, right? Let's just say, for example, and you want to make, $250,000 this year, that's fantastic. But does that align also with your GCI? Does that align with your volume? Does that align with your how many transactions you're going to do? Does that align with how many hours you're willing to spend, right? Because all of those things have to be carefully aligned if you're truly going to have a map for 2021. And I'll give you an example of my goals for 2021. So my goals for personally on my own deals that I broker, I want to net about $300,000 in commissions after splits and everything like that personally. And then I also run a team, so I want to help my team, each of my team members achieve somewhere between $3 to $5 million in volume, right? So that they each can take a really strong paycheck, each can continue growing their business in their early years, right? So that's kind of my vision, is what I want for myself, what I want for my group, and what I really see myself driving for is one of the biggest growing teams in the Boston area. Next, let's actually dive into how you're going to get this done, right? And in the real estate business, or really any sales business, you got to figure out what your pillars of business going to be. You can have your pillars be cold calling, you can have your pillars be online lead generation, SOI marketing, Facebook ads, YouTube videos, whatever, right? But whatever your pillars are, first of all, you want to hone on those, right? So for me, I've got three main pillars. It's going to be YouTube clients, it's going to be off-market business working with developers, and then my sphere of influence and past clients, right? So you can see I'm very specific with the three pillars I'm going to really focus on to hit my personal $300,000 in commission. And then beyond that, we want to go into the analytics, right? Because again, it's nice to say, I'm going to get X amount of deals from this source, I'm going to get Y amount of deals from this source. That's not that helpful, right? What are the actual numbers you need to hit, right? So let me give you an example. For my YouTube lead generation, for example, I know this year I organically generated about 20 leads plus or minus from YouTube, right? That's people that have watched my Living in Boston channel where they call me directly and say, hey, Leo, are super interested in buying or selling a home, saw your videos, let's do some business, right? And I know from that, I converted about 4 clients this year, right? That actually translated into closed transactions. So that's about, a fifth conversion rate, so 20% conversion rate, right? So I know if my goal next year, which it is to do 10 deals from YouTube, right? I basically have to 2x, maybe 3x the amount of leads I generated, right? So instead of 20 leads, I probably need somewhere around 50 to 60 leads, right? And if I'm at 500 subscribers today, I know in order to hit that goal, I need to be at 1,500 subscribers, right? So now those are my goals, right? Those are my statistical goals. And I'm gonna drill even further. What does that mean for your process, right? Well, I know this year I was probably averaging maybe about a video, somewhere between 1 to 2 videos per week. This year, my goal is 100% to be somewhere between 2 to 3 videos at least. Minimum is 2 videos. I'm gonna be trying to push away time to essentially create 3. And I know what goes into creating those videos, right? I know it takes time to film. I know the time it takes to edit. And now I can really have a flushed out schedule that, hey, if you want to hit X amount of deals from this lead source, you got to do 2 to 3 videos, which means you got to spend X amount of time doing these activities every single week. Now, this is super, super drilled down, and it's necessary, right? Because if you're going to have other pillars of, let's say you're going to do cold calls or maybe online lead generation, you got to do the same exact math breakdown, right? So for example, if you're going to be cold calling, you need to know your numbers in and out, right? You need to know, hey, if I made, my lead conversion typically is maybe, let's say 2%, right? So that means I gotta make 100 calls in order to convert 2 potential clients, right? So now you need to hit 100 conversations, but how many of those, every time you dial, you obviously don't have a real conversation. How many of those become real? And you can kind of do the math. Well, you know what, in order for myself to get, say, 2 clients a month, let's just say that math pencils out to 2,000 calls per week, right? So now you know, hey, if I want 2 deals, I know based on my conversion rate of meaningful conversations, I can get 2 out of 100 clients or whatever it is, right? I need to have maybe 2,000 conversations every single week, which maybe translates to 4 hours of cold calls a day, right? Boom, math is done for you, and there's your game plan, right? So if you know the statistics, if you know the math behind the game plan, that's gonna make your goal setting and your process setting so much better, right? Because now you can tell yourself, look, I know in order to hit these statistics, I gotta bang this amount of things out, right? Whether it's X amount of calls, X amount of videos, whatever it is. And if you don't do those, now you know it's on you if you don't get that business. Now, there's other pillars that you may not necessarily be able to really crunch down the numbers on as easily. For example, my off-market business, right, where I work with developers and investors, typically I get that from my contacts with other brokers, right? And it's hard for me to say, well, I need to do X amount of contacts with Y amount of brokers, because it kind of just happens through my network and, depending on when I reach out. So in that, I probably have a little bit less analytical goals, and you can certainly have a pillar like that as well, but I still have my action plans, right? For example, for my action plan for this pillar, I know I need to systematize my database, get everyone that I talk to throughout this year in an email list, make sure I'm emailing them, make sure I'm reaching out to them at least once a month. So there's still some sort of process behind what I'm trying to achieve. Because if you guys haven't noticed, I'm pretty crazy about getting into a process, getting into a daily action that translates into a win. Because if you don't know what you're doing on a daily basis, chances are you're probably not gonna win. And finally, now that I kind of went on this huge ramble about analytics, process, goals, vision, mission, all that good stuff, I think the last thing you really need to connect is beyond the real estate brokerage side of it, right? Why are you trying to generate this amount of money, right? Are you trying to save up for a new house, right? Maybe on the personal side. Are you trying to save up for maybe an insanely baller vacation that you want to take to Australia, right? Like, what is the purpose behind the money you're trying to generate? Really nail down on that, right? So for me, I actually do want to take a pretty baller trip. I haven't done one in a while. So my trip I want to do next December. So I know I gotta hit certain metrics in order for me to do that vacation. And then it could also be other financial moves, right? So again, maybe you could be potentially saving for an investment play, right? Maybe you want to buy an investment property. Maybe you want to buy Bitcoin. Maybe you want to buy into the S&P. But whatever it is, right, you might have other financial goals. So you want to make sure your real estate brokerage work, right, like your agent work, feeds into these other streams, right? So my other goal, for example, is I want to buy another investment property, right? Because I want my rental income to jump from $4,000 a month to $7,000 a month by next year. And I know in order to do that, basically need to save about $200,000, which will allow me to go buy a cash flow and multifamily that will increase my rental income close to that $7,000 per month. So I'm connecting it not only to my personal goal, right, which is that vacation, but I'm also connecting it to other financial goals like buying more investment property, because I know that's going to help alleviate a lot of financial stress if I can get to that $7,000 per month rental income mark. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. I know I just threw a lot at you, but really break these down, right? Really start with that mission and vision. What do you want to accomplish? Who do you want to be known for as the marketplace? Then put some numbers behind it in terms of gross commission, sales volume, transactions, hours worked, right? That's a big one. Then really break the processes down, right? What does that look like on a day-to-day basis? What do I need to hit on a day-to-day basis? And then finally, tie that all in with other goals, right? With other personal goals, with other financial goals. And that will really drive you to continue to stay course and really hit your targets in 2021.